This broadcast from IOF TV is brought to you by Commentator and Lumonite.
Hello and welcome to highlights from Kuopio in Finland for the very special World Ranking Event that marks the build-up to the World Championships 2025, which will be held in this very same part of Finland. So lots of excitement, lots of international runners here today, and we can take a look at the course. A very short first control heading out of the arena, and a much longer route choice. Do you save some climb? Do you go a little bit straighter towards control number 2? Then kind of a series of more medium controls. Again, lots of route choice in there, particularly wanting to avoid the climb. A little bit of a loop and then crossing back over towards the other side of the hills. A couple of short controls there as well, and then a few little tricky controls along the top of these hills as well here before reaching the finish at control number 15 back in the field here. As I said, very, very interesting route choice over this 4.8 kilometre course for the women. There's an opportunity to get to that main track, but it's a really long way off the red line. You can skirt on the red route around the bottom of those hills, around the south of the hills, or you can again take that line of crags up on the north. Of course, the red one is the shortest, but you've got to kind of take into account that runnability as well. And they've not got that much time to prepare. It's a short uphill leg to number 1, but it's fairly adequate for them to be able to figure that one out. So the TV controls at number 3. Again, there's route choices to number 4, and it's mostly about some of those obstacles in the way. So you've got the big hill, you've got the marsh as well, and it's basically going to be wanting to avoid that climb. Pretty similar problem to solve, I'd say, for controls 9 to 10. 9, of course, is where we get that other TV control. You can go straight on the red route, but it does take a little bit more climb, maybe a little bit trickier as well. So we can go out of the start. This is Mia Nittinen running for Katherine Rasti, straight out of this field here, straight into the terrain. Mia Nittinen, 19th in the World Championships long, 4th in the relay. So we're at the 3rd control, and this is Elisa Mattila in with the lead here, 42 seconds. She's actually a recent Jaywalk sprint champion from the races in 2022, those ones in Portugal. So her only individual race of those championships. So great to see her doing well here in the forest. Looking very strong here, not being bothered at all by the following running cam. Mia Nittinen then here as well, making light work over some of these brashings. Hopefully it's a good opportunity to see what some of this terrain around Kuopio is like for those hoping to participate at these World Championships in a couple of years' time. And after 1.3 kilometres, she's in the lead. Not much running done, and she's already in the lead here. 31 seconds ahead of her teammate from the national team, Ida Happala. And let's see how it was done. Mia Nittinen going kind of south, sticking all the way below those hills, ending up with a 30-second lead. At the 2.9 kilometre point, then Amy Niemann into second place. So Elisa Mattila, the youngster, still maintaining that lead with some of the top runners now through that point. Amy Niemann, you can see how much she's reading the map as her head tips down, her arm comes up, and she's just able to take that, looking really well. Elisa Mattila in the finish then. And it's been a fantastic run for the young runner, just about coming in to take the punch. There we go, 39 minutes and 41 seconds for this 4.8 kilometre course. She's got to be happy with that. Former JWOC sprint champion. Not got a senior vest yet. Here's a woman with lots of senior caps, Venla Harju, on her way to the 1.3 kilometre point. She's just 6 seconds behind Mia Nittinen. So Nittinen and Harju in the lead after that wrong route choice from 1 to 2. Let's see. Oh, she did take a different route there. And actually, I think it was a little bit slower for Nittinen to go round. A good choice from Venla Harju to go quite straight. You can see how she kind of takes the lines between some of the hills, and we can follow Venla Harju through here. See quite a lot of some fallen trees. That doesn't seem to be proving too much of an obstacle for her. Into the next control. Very well prepared for that change of direction. And that was her into 4. Again, this was another of those route choice examples, going everybody sensibly, I think, going around that hill. Let's see how it pays off. No, a few mistakes, I think, from everybody kind of coming into that control. Both of those options, I think, could have been executed better. So still hard to see which was the better option. So Mia Nittinen, a big lead for her at the 2.9 kilometre mark, about a minute. And back to the finish. Amy Niemann coming into second place. She's not going to be faster than Elisa Mattila. So a minute and a half down for Amy Niemann. And current second place in this world ranking event. So Venla Harju into the 2.9 kilometre mark. Similar time to Nittinen. Slightly quicker perhaps, but looking very good here. And Mia Nittinen. Here's the control. He's just really slightly hidden there. Part of the Finnish relay team. He finished just outside the medals in those World Championships. That's her at 4.5 kilometres, so just very, very close to the arena now. Here she is, in fact, at the arena. You can catch up with her. This does look like it's going to be a new leading time here. Great performance from Finn. And a strong time, 38 minutes and 49 seconds. So we've just got Harju to come. Venla Harju, the European long distance champion, middle distance bronze medalist. She looked like she was slightly ahead of Mia Nittinen in the forest at the previous TV control. Mia Nittinen. Very stable race. Okay, let's check out and in with Venla running for Tampere Perinter. You can see the slope to the left. Again, different kind of style of forest, slightly different sections of undergrowth. Ooh. Just climbing around the bottom of these crags. And actually, oh yes, you can see she's got a completely different route choice to Mia Nittinen on this part, to control number 13. And the thing now, she's got to climb up here, up between these two crags. She's managed to find the gap pretty well, but it's a long climb up here, and all Nittinen's got to do is descend. They're so close though here, these synchronized GPS trackings. You can see how slow it is on the climb up there. I always think the camera makes it look way less steep than it is, and takes all the energy out of you as well. But here she is actually coming into that control. Oh, and it's so close between Mia Nittinen and Venla Harju. What was that, about 7 seconds? I think that has cost her the time, because you can see ticking here, she's not in the arena yet. Venla Harju were looking for her on the edge of the forest. She's already late. She's going to go into second place though. It will be second for Venla Harju. But that route choice at the end, that is tough. Almost there for Venla Harju, but not quite the right route choices at the end. Certainly been a course with lots of route choices, avoiding those obstacles, wanting to avoid some climb as well. And Venla Harju, not quite the right decision at the end there, but she's such a strong athlete. Such an experienced athlete as well. Let's have a replay then. Look, she must have been ahead at 12. And just so close there. And then again, she's tired from having gone up that hill to 13. She's dropped a few more seconds back behind Mia Nittinen. So it was Mia Nittinen who took the win. 25 seconds then ahead of Venla Harju, and the youngster Elisa Matala into third place. Great to see also junior Evelina Janaho into 5th. And Hanna Wisniewska from Poland in the top 10 as well. Okay, we can switch then to the men's race and have a look at the course preview for them. Lots of world ranking points on offer, of course, and most importantly, a chance to sample terrain similar to that of the world champs in a couple of years' time here in Kuopio in Finland. Again, lots of kind of route choice legs, no really short controls at this point. But from the 10th control, that TV control, another route choice. It's going to be about trying to minimize the climb and keep those mistakes to a minimum as well. Again, a different kind of end to the course compared to the women. But we can have a look at then some of the route choices here. There's 3 or 4 quite interesting route choice legs. And these two give options to, again, basically go one or the other side of a hill. Either sticking on the slope, it's not too steep. There's quite a few form line contours in there as well, or going north of the crags, then up and over the hill through the semi-open area to number 2. 3 to 4 is another one of those route choice legs. The red route is a bit shorter, but you do go all the way up and over the second hill. Tricky to make that decision. You've also got the marsh adding in a factor as well. Again, 10 to 11, fairly similar challenge in terms of looking for the right parts of runnability in the terrain and trying to minimize the climb. You definitely don't want to go over that hill with the crags on it at all. So Mikko Irola is a good early finisher and he's got a great time here. But no senior best yet for him. He had great results though in Denmark JWOC 2019 and he's awarded with a leading time. One of the early starters, 39 minutes and 42 seconds. Let's head back to the terrain. It's a strong start from the Ukrainian Alexander Kratov. And takes the lead by just 15 seconds after 1.3 kilometers. So good, must have been a good route choice for the Ukrainian. Here we head back to Eetu Savalainen. You can see there his 8th place at the European Championships, a long distance race. That was a very testing long distance race in Estonia last year. He seems to have made a good start. He's kind of taking all these fallen trees in his stride. You can see picking up kind of a ride there. The visibility here is fantastic. You can just take very small glimpses of his map. He is able to pick up a lot of information. And so this is him towards the 1.3 kilometer mark. He's not going to be as fast as Kratov, as the Ukrainian, but it is second place then for the Finn, for Savalainen. Let's head back to the starts because Olli Ojanaho is on the start list, taking a medal at those World Championships this year in that long distance race. It's been a bit of a breakthrough season for Olli Ojanaho, and great to see him doing so well on the international circuit. What can you do here on home soil? I'm sure those World Championships in 2 years will be a huge target for him, as it will be for this man, Kasper Harlem-Fosse, the world champion in the long distance, running for IFK Gothenburg today. And just getting some very, very early training in for those champs in 2 years' time. He wants to cement his reputation as king of the long distance. Speaking of men who've had good seasons, Thomas Krivda, wasn't it a fantastic one for him? 4th place in the WOC long distance, backed that up with great results in Czechia as well at the World Cup. And he goes into 4th place there, all within touching distance, a strong start. And you can see just those different routes here. Very, very different routes to control number 2. Again, maybe it's all about all these micro route choices because there doesn't seem to be too much difference between them as we follow Olli Ojanaho into the next control after this long route choice, the 3rd control. See how open it is here. We can catch him on our pictures from so far out. The gentle slopes around here. So not as fast as Mika Kiemela in the top spot there. He does go into 2nd. Kasper Fosse, again at the same point, we could see on the tracking earlier, he took a different route choice, heading a little bit further up. And I think that's cost him some time. Yes, you can see there, he takes quite a lot of climb early on and descending into this control. And he's about, oh, and he makes a mistake there. He's too high coming out of that cut area. So I think it's going to leave him about a minute and 13, 15 seconds behind, over a minute behind. Let's catch Mika Kiemela. This is, oh, does he make a parallel mistake? Maybe coming out of 3, he was in the wrong place. Anyway, that's going to put Mika Kiemela way out of contention here. Savolainen then taking him running towards control number 14. Still looking very strong. Next up, Thomas Krivda. This is the 3.5 kilometer mark. The Czech athletes. Still looking good for him. Will be the lead. And we take Olli Ojanaho with even bigger lead. This is huge here from Olli. And after 3.5 kilometers to have about 1.5 minutes lead, it's all going very, very well for Ojanaho. Makes it look so easy. Even when you've got to dodge all of these low branches as well, just reduces the visibility a bit. Could take Kratov into the finish. And it does end up being 3rd place for him. Still nobody challenging Mikko Irola. Those early finishes, his time is standing up very well. And into the finish as well, we have Iitti Savolainen. He is going to go into a new leading time. The first one to beat Irola. Iitti Savolainen, 39 minutes and 14 seconds. Looking pretty good. We've got Kuopio to come. Kasper Fossa, Olli Ojanaho as well. And it's a lead at the moment of just less than 30 seconds. Already looking at the route and what happens. Well, Kasper Fossa trying to recover from not the best starts. Now just over 1 minute behind Olli Ojanaho. And this is really the start of a couple of years of preparations for a lot of these elite guys. Let's have a look at the replay. Miss of direction for me there for Krivda between 5 and 6. Just, you could see a few hesitations, just losing time on Fossa. Or losing time on Ojanaho really as well. Let's take, oh, he was so close to that control. We were looking out for Krivda within the top places, and that is a mistake. I think that is too. He should have gone much closer to the red line on that one. That pretty much puts Krivda out of the runnings as we catch up with Olli Ojanaho. Look at that gap. That's with the synchronized trackings. He's well over 1 minute ahead of Kasper Fossa. And in this breakthrough year for Olli Ojanaho, it's great to see that even after all the big pressures of the international season have gone, he's running incredibly well. All part of the long road to WOC 2025. And this will be the perfect start for him. He's so quick through the terrain. Makes it look like he's running on a track, even though jumping all these things, taking the landing much better than the running camera. Just a few hesitations in here. You've got to spot the hill on the other side. Get the direction spot on when the visibility gets slightly lower. No problems there for Olli Ojanaho. And here he is into the finish. Whoa! Such a massive gap over Iitti Savolainen. Incredible running there from Olli Ojanaho, whose 2023 continues as a great one. 36 minutes and 1 second. Then got Kasper Fossa, king of the long distance, still to come. Yes, Thumbs up, I think that's absolutely right for Ollie. Just keeping it very clean, very, very fast racing as well. That was Krivda behind. And we can follow Fossa then into the finish. And descending down into the last few controls. Here he is dropping into only a few controls to go. Incredible flow through there, but he's actually lost more time on Ollie Ianaho. It was just over a minute now, closer to a minute and a half for Kasper Fossa. Not quite the win today. It will be second place for him. And really a lot of that time for me lost on the route choice right at the beginning of the course there. But I think a lot of lessons learned maybe from him in this terrain, and I'm sure he'll be satisfied with that as a good starting point for his preparations for the next Forest World Championships. So there's confirmation then of the results. A win by over a minute and a half for Ollie Ianaho from Helsingin Simmerstad. Very dominant performance there. And then, but that gap back to third again, very, very big for that. Let's have a comparison between the top few runners then. Very different routes here into control number 2. All these micro route choices, but Ianaho coming out top there. And then Fossa, as you can see his mistake. It was a route choice and the mistake into control 2 that I think might have lost it for him. Again, very different routes. He goes a bit more climb here on control number 4, drops back a bit. And then Ianaho here just looks so fast. Just every single step he runs, just getting a little bit ahead of all of those behind him. Fairly simple through these controls here. Again, another route choice coming up. Ianaho just looks so direct through this terrain. Again, is minimizing the heights here. Very clever route choices where Fossa goes up and over. And at this point, he's got over a minute gap. Very good on the compass as well. So good feedback for Ianaho and for Fossa as well, with big lead for both of them at the end of this. And that's how the World Ranking event ended. So we'll see a lot more of this terrain as the teams do training in here, ready for the World Championships. But I hope you've enjoyed these highlights of this World Ranking event here from Kuopio in Finland.
This broadcast from IOF TV is brought to you by Katherine and Lumonite.